Elizabeth, how did you get into piano? I'm a pianist too, and it's hard work, so hats off to you for putting in the time and dedication. It's awesome. You're using your skill for the Lord. Well, to answer your question, how did I get into piano? My mother is a pianist. With her help and my grandmother's help, they began my journey into the art of piano. Jacob, how long have you been playing piano? I've been playing since the winter of 2010, but officially in 2013 when I started Hoffman. Johnny 3. How many times do you usually go over or warm up on a song before you decide to put it on video and do the editing? That's a good question. It depends on the key, really, and the speed of the music. I can record one song sometimes after running through it twice, but sometimes I have to run through it more, like 20 times. It just depends on how my hands operate with the key and how fast music is. But my mother does wish I do play a lot more than I do. Benjamin Griffith says, "What are some of your favorite songs to play?" I like Soon and Very Soon, Because He Lives, All Because God's Amazing Grace, and several others, really. The hymns are very good songs to listen to.
Resting one evening by the side of the road, spied an old farmer in a field he just hoed. His face was all brown and wrinkled by the sun and the wind. He was talking to the Lord, just like you'd be talking to a friend. "Well, sir," he said in a voice that was calm and quiet, "them corn thistles need sacking, but I got no string to tie it. That grass in the pasture should be knee-high. If we could just have a little rain, Lord, it might keep the cow from going dry. Hasn't rained in so long that the fields are getting mighty dusty. It's been so unbearable hot that the kids are even getting fussy. Oh, but listen to me talking. You'd think I wasn't grateful. Well, if you didn't know me so well, Lord, you might think I was downright hateful. You'd think I forgot about the new calf you just sent, money in the mail that took care of the rent, Ma's cold's better, and John's home in the Navy, and that good Sunday dinner of chicken, dumplings, and gravy. That new preacher you sent us, Lord, he sure is a fine young man. Why, he's just been converting them old sinners to beat the band. Well, guess I'll be moseying along, Lord. Don't want to take no more of your time. Guess there's plenty of folks here about waiting to ring your line. So, evening to you, Lord, and watch over us tonight. And don't you worry about us none, Lord, because everything is going to be all right." I've wandered far automobile was widely in use, and trains were the best option for a lengthy trip. A minister had just closed a revival in a huge Midwestern city. He got on a train on his way back home and found himself seated beside a troubled young man. Just to pass the time, he tried to start a conversation about the weather. And when he didn't get a reply, he turned and looked to see that the young man had tears streaming down his cheeks. He said, "Son, I'm a minister. Is there anything wrong? Well, I'll be glad to help you in any way that I can." Through his tears, the young man proceeded to tell this story. He said, "Preacher, 2 years ago I got so mean at home that I even struck my father. Dad called me in and he said, 'Son, you're going to have to leave home. You're breaking your mother's heart.' So for the past 2 years, I wandered all over this country. I've gone deeper and deeper in sin and just getting meaner and meaner. But then 3 weeks ago, I went into a revival and God gloriously saved me. I wrote Mom and Dad a letter and I told them I'd be on this train. I told them I was coming home." The preacher said, "Well, son, that's a wonderful testimony and it thrills me to hear it. But tell me, why are you so troubled? You should be so happy." Man said, "Preacher, I've disgraced Mom and I've disgraced Dad and I don't know whether they want me back home or not. I don't know whether just to get off this train or to stay on and keep going." "How will you know?" the preacher asked. "Well, sir," the young man replied, "all my life I've lived beside these railroad tracks in a little white house. And out behind the house is a great big old apple tree. I told my dad if I was welcome home that he'd just hang a white rag at the top of that apple tree and I'd know to get off this train. I'd know by that signal that everything was all right and I could come home. And preacher, we're almost there. We're getting closer and closer and I'm scared to look. Would you look for me?" The preacher reached over and dusted the window off and looked out. Long till a great big old smile came over his face. He said, "Son, you don't have a thing in this world to worry about." He said, "I can see that old apple tree. There's a white rag on nearly every limb. And it looks like it's in full bloom. And out of that apple tree, there's an old gray-haired Mom and Dad waving a great big white bed sheet. As if to say, 'Come on home, son. Come on home.'" And you know something, people? That's just our Lord. No matter how deep in sin we've gone, no matter how mean and harsh we've become, all we've got to do is come to Him. And He's standing there with open arms saying, "Come on home, child. Come on home."